Hey there everyone, and welcome back to the Crypto 101 channel. My name is Brendan, and I hope all of you guys are having a great day no matter where you are from. And in recent days, we've seen major leaders in the crypto space, things like Bitcoin and Ethereum, pull back roughly 10% from their recent highs. And with this has raised a lot of questions across the board, like is the bull market over? Is the crypto market going to continue to fall from here? And what's the reason and the catalyst behind the crypto markets moving down? So what I want to do today is kind of share the good, the bad, the ugly, everything that's happening across the crypto markets, again, including both Bitcoin and the altcoin markets as well. Because not only is there some technical developments on the chart that I want to go over here, but also there's a couple news articles that I think everyone, at least every crypto holder, should be aware of. So all that we ask here is that if you like the content that we make, consider doing two things: hitting that like button and hitting that subscribe button. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive on in here. Now, let's look at the charts first. I guess kicking things off with Bitcoin, the leader of the crypto markets, pulled back again roughly 10%, around 10.6% from its high of $45,000 all the way back down to $40,000. Now, why did it decide to bottom out around 40,000? Well, this is exactly where the 20-day moving average is. This is something that we've mentioned before, but in this most recent uptrend, we've seen the 20-day moving average, not just for Bitcoin, but Ethereum and a plethora of altcoins as well. The 20-day moving average has been a consistent support area, and we saw it being used actually throughout all of November. We can see that really clearly right here. So as Bitcoin saw this bigger pullback, again, this was one of the largest pullbacks that we have seen in the last 9 months in terms of dollar value, but also in terms of percentage drop as well, with Bitcoin. And so if we go and look at Ethereum, it looks very similar to this chart. We see that Ethereum pulled back from these highs of around 2,400 all the way back down to around 2,100. The good news is that not only was Ethereum using its previous resistance as a newfound point of support, but it's also bouncing off of that 20-day moving average as well. So this is the pullback that we're looking at. And so to all the people out there that are saying, hey, the sky is falling, how much farther can we go? Is this the beginning of another bear market? I don't think so, at least not as of yet. All the signs are still showing that we're actually very much in a healthy pullback and in the uptrend. And there's very little evidence to say that there has been a market reversal or something that wild. Again, the evidence just is not pointing in that direction. We've seen us fall back to this exact point numerous times in previous months. And despite the size of the pullback, it really isn't that big in the grand scheme of things, especially when we zoom out to something like Ethereum. Also, the fact that it's bouncing off of a previous resistance level as a newfound support level is a textbook sign of a bullish market. So quick reminder before we dive into the news that pullbacks are healthy. They're essential in bull markets because they lay the foundation for everything that is going to be built on top of it. Now, why has the crypto markets pulled back? I think that there was a little bit of a technical reason, right? Because we just had this huge move towards the upside. But from a fundamental standpoint, if you want to argue anything, I think the thing at the top of the news that I have seen has been this outrage over Elizabeth Warren's anti-crypto bill. And there's a few senators that are kind of taking part in this. However, I am not in the least bit worried. Do I think that this impacted price? Maybe a little bit. I think it was probably just a little bit of a coincidence as well. But this is not something that I am at all worried about. Not a single bit. And let me show you why. There have been people who have been looking into what are the odds that we see this new bill come to fruition. Now, let me preface this by saying I don't think it matters what side of the spectrum, political spectrum it's on, left, right, up, down, sideways. I don't think it matters really who introduces this bill. I don't see it getting approved regardless of who introduces it. Elizabeth Warren, for her stats and herself, out of the 305 self-introduced bills, 0 have become law, which means that there is a 0%, according to the past, that this will go through. Now, of co-sponsored, there's been over 1,700, and 45 have become law, which is just over a 2% conversion rate. So if we're looking at the past numbers here, again, I'm a numbers guy. I'm an analyst at the end of the day. I like looking at the numbers. This bill does not look like it's going to be something that becomes a reality, especially with all of the institutional interest that we're seeing. It would not make sense. It would not benefit BlackRock. It would not benefit Fidelity. It would not benefit Charles Schwab and Invesco and all these big financial institutions and banks that are interested in Bitcoin and crypto as a whole, they would be getting hurt by this. Again, I just see it as such an unlikely scenario. I have not lost a single second of sleep over it, and it's not something that has me worried. So I just needed to make sure that I hit that hammer home really strong. The other thing that I'm seeing over here is that BlackRock and Fidelity are still hashing out the details over their ETFs. Why is this important? Because we've made videos and content on this previously showing how committed like BlackRock and Grayscale and Fidelity and a lot of these major players are with making sure that this ETF goes through. They have been meeting with the SEC on a routine basis to making sure that everyone is on the same page. And this is just another example of that. They continue to do this. All of the major players that are serious about this are routinely meeting with the SEC saying, is there anything out of left field? Is there anything that we can do to make this better? Is there anything to make sure that this is going to pass? They are very serious about making sure that this ETF passes, and all the compasses are really pointing towards an ETF approval, again, in the most likely scenario being in January, which is less than a month away now. It's almost a half a month away. So we're ideally looking at some time around mid to early January for this ETF approval. And I'm so excited about this because for those of you who haven't seen this yet, basically Google came out and kind of leaked that the ETF is all but said and done. And what I mean by that is they released their what they called the updates to cryptocurrencies and related products policy as of December 2023. And what this says, and I want to kind of read this over with everyone, is it says in January 2024, Google will update the cryptocurrencies and related products policy to clarify the scope of requirements for the advertisement of cryptocurrency coin trusts. Beginning in January 29th, 2024, again, that's a specific date, advertisers offering cryptocurrency coin trust targeting the United States may advertise those products and services when they meet the following requirements and are certified by Google. So what are the takeaways here? Number one, they offer a very specific date, and they say twice. They say January 2024, and then they re-clarify and say beginning January 29th of 2024. Now, why are they giving us a specific date here being in January? Again, that's when the ETFs are most likely to be approved by, and I can't prove it, but I bet you that Google knows something that the average person like me or you doesn't. Secondly, they use the word cryptocurrencies and related products as in plural, and then they also refer to these as trusts, plural, right here. So this means that, number one, they're not specifying, they're not saying Bitcoin. They could have used the word Bitcoin trust. They could have used the word Bitcoin trust. They could have used the word Ethereum trust or trusts, plural. But they didn't. And what they did here is they used the word cryptocurrencies, which tells me that we are probably going to be, at least Google is optimistic that we're going to be getting multiple different cryptocurrency ETFs. And it looks like, the obvious one there would be Ethereum. Also, the third thing that I would say is that they wouldn't release a statement like this without having multiple teams that are involved with this process probably do some sort of work. It wouldn't make any sense that they would release this statement and then be like, all right, guys, now that we've released this, let's go make sure that we have our compliance team, our regulatory team, our front end and back end team that are actually doing the ins and outs of this thing that we're talking about. Let's go ahead and put all these teams to work now that we've announced it. And in the business world, it's just an unlikely scenario. The odds are they have been building this out with multiple different teams, again, regulatory, compliance, front end, back end, all of it. All these different teams have been working on this to the point of where they're now comfortable announcing this with a specific date. So from the way that this looks, at least from my perspective, Google knows what's going on. I don't know if they have some sort of inside scoop, but they seem to believe that this ETF is very likely going to, or multiple ETFs, because they use the word plural, are very likely to be approved by January. Otherwise, they wouldn't have this January date saying advertisers can start in January. Well, why would advertisers be able to start in January if the ETFs aren't going to be approved by January? And again, I could rant about this for probably too long. But there's a lot of things, there's a lot of ways that you can look into this. I'm sure we will see in coming months. But I use all of this to say that I am so bullish about the crypto markets. It's one that I'm excited about. I like the way that we are developing. And even if we do get a little bit of a pullback, even if the 20-day moving average breaks, guess what? I'm still bullish on it. We still have, on things like Bitcoin, we still have its previous support line. We still have the 50-day moving average. We still have so many other forms of support beyond our immediate price zone. So even if Bitcoin does continue to pull back, guess what? I'm going to be happy about it, because who wouldn't want to buy a little bit lower? I know I've been waiting for opportunity to buy not only Bitcoin and Ethereum, but a handful of altcoins as well. I'm scrolling through them. There's definitely some red and some green on the altcoin charts. So lots of things to be excited about, everyone. If you did enjoy this video, again, check out the links in the description down below. We have all sorts of links that you can join. You can check out the Crypto Revolution book. You can check out Altcoin Alert, Crypt Nation. We got lots of communities. So if you are a serious crypto investor or a serious crypto trader, you might want to look into those. They might just be the next community that you would find yourself really enjoying being a part of. And of course, you know, if you did like the content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We make videos just like this one every single week, multiple times a week. So if you want to stay tuned with everything that's happening in the crypto markets, this is going to be your best place to do it. So thank you all for watching, and we will see all of you in the next video.